Hello and welcome back to my channel, Just Jai. I'm Jai. I spoke briefly in my re-introductory video about trying to, have kids, get pregnant, all that fun stuff. And I was going to get ready and do a get ready with me. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what, now would be a really good time to start, I guess, with those videos and just kind of my journey on that, just because I am close to ovulating. And if you don't know what that means that if I were a chicken, I'd be getting ready to lay an egg. That's the easiest way I can think of to put it. And so I figured, why not, before I get ready, since I was about to do this anyway, I just, share it with you guys. This is one of the things that I have been working on / working towards / wanting to do / been praying for almost 10 years now. I went through a really long journey between relationships and health, and I ended up being engaged twice throughout this process. These are not the rings, just so you know, but they are super cute, aren't they? Right? Anyway, it was like I've been trying off and on for over 10 years. Like I said, being engaged twice, so through most of that was through two very long-term serious relationships. I was kind of trying around the time I started this as well, and that was going to be one of the things that I was going to be doing a couple years ago, but that relationship didn't quite work out, which is why I'm here in a different state and all that fun stuff. But one of the things that I do to kind of keep track of my cycle and make sure everything's together, because I was, diagnosed with infertility. At this point, it was about 2 years ago. Yeah, it was shortly after I started this that I finally had a doctor that was just like, so something actually is wrong with you. I had fibroids really bad. My uterus was the size of as if I was 16 weeks pregnant, and most pregnancies last between 37 to 40 weeks. So I was to the point to where people were asking me, oh, when are you due? Because I genuinely looked like I was about to enter my second trimester, because my uterus was just so big, which made my stomach so big. And I had surgery a year ago in May, and I unfortunately haven't been able to really try like I wanted to. I think there were like 3 months in there where I did have someone who was going to donate and help me out, and that didn't quite work out. So we tried. It didn't work. It was a blessing. I don't think I'll be sharing that story, though, despite the fact I do and really have been working on trying to be, really transparent, and I feel this is a really good way to do so, because it's the world. Like there's kind of no hiding once you put yourself out there. But that was just a time. But one of the things that I do is I regularly, around the time that I ovulate, check my LH, which I don't know if this test says what LH is. It does not, and I cannot remember what the name of that actual hormone is, but LH is a hormone that your body as a female surges, and that tells your ovaries to release the egg. And I use these little like cheapy internet tests or whatever. These are actually from China, but all the instructions and everything are in English, which is great. But I do these, and with this, I get a urine sample. For when you're checking your ovulation, you are supposed to use your second daily urine. When you do pregnancy tests, you use your first morning urine. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, that's when the best time to take pregnancy tests. But when you're testing for LH, which is the hormone, like I said, that surges for ovulation, you want to try with your second or even third urination for the day. So I was not going to pee on camera. Translucent and TMI, it's a fine line there. I've drawn mine in the sand. We're not going to cross it. Don't worry about that. But I have my sample here. It's not even in a clear cup, so you don't even have to see it, but it's in there. And yeah, I figured I would just take this test as I get ready for my day. I actually almost forgot that I was supposed to be doing this because like I mentioned in my other video, and I think I said it while I've been talking now, I don't know, I ramble sometimes, but I don't have anyone to help me right now, and I don't have the funds to pay for a donor, and I am not what American standards are for adopting, meaning that I am an unmarried, unwed, same thing, Black African American woman who doesn't make, 6 figures a year. So yeah, there's a whole long thing with adoption. I do want to adopt. I'm not against adoption. I would actually love to adopt, but right now I'm just not in a place. It's a whole lot easier to go the route that I'm going right now to try. And since my surgery a year ago, a little over a year now, because now it's July, I have really wanted to try, and I was given, a window with my doctors to try after my healing process, and technically that window has closed, but at the same time, I'm just keeping faith and having hope. So anyway, you open the test, and this is what it looks like. Oh, yeah, there you go. And it says LH on the side here where it's pink, so you know what you're testing for. And you know what? Just because it's YouTube and just for fun, I'm gonna do a pregnancy test too. I know I'm not pregnant. There would be no way for me to even be pregnant right now, but just so you guys can see the difference and all that fun stuff, so I can explain that. And this one, the pregnancy test, yeah, there we go, it says HCG, and it's like human it's like basically human chromosomal gyne something or whatever. But basically it's also a hormone that that's the hormone that your body surges after you have a fertilized egg, and it implants or attaches itself inside your uterus, and that tells your body, hey, she's pregnant, don't give her a period, all that fun stuff. And I'll just kind of go through the differences of it's hiding for me, of the two tests. And this test is also by the same company, and this is what this one looks like. And you see it says HCG, and this one's blue, and then this is the other one, it's pink. So you can tell the difference and don't get it mixed up. Okay, so I'm going to dip these, and you dip them for, I don't know, I've been doing this so long that I don't remember the exact time. I think it's supposed to be like 10 seconds or whatever. I usually just dip it until I start seeing, I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, there's a little line, like it says max, and then there's a line right there, and when I start seeing the color start coming through, that's when I stop. And then these are like 3 to 5 minute tests. You usually get your results in full within 3 to 5 minutes. So we'll start with the LH, the pink one, because that's the one that's the most important, because that's what I actually need right now. See, you can see the color starting to go through. So I'm gonna lay that one flat. And then now I will dip the pregnancy test. See, color starting to go. So I will lay those flat. And then while those are doing their magic, where are we at? 10 minutes? Okay, awesome. While those are doing their magic, I am actually getting ready to leave the house to go get food because I'm starving. But I thought maybe I could do like a not really a get ready with me type thing, because you guys have basically seen like my major process or whatever. And you know what? I just realized I can't even do that. I might actually make that. I have a photo shoot tonight, so I may just go ahead and do that then. But I just realized all of my makeup is still packed up from when I went and did my photo shoot. So it's all in my suitcase, and I'm not gonna go grab that right now. So instead, what I'm going to do is, I guess I'll just, well, you know what? It's only like 3 minutes, so I can explain it. It's fine. The difference while we're waiting, yeah, it's been like a minute and some change, with the telling the difference between a positive on a pregnancy test and a positive on an LH test. A pregnancy test, of course, positive, you'll have 2 lines. You'll have your test line, which is the line that's always going to be there, whether it's negative or positive. That's testing the test, basically. That's letting you know that the test worked properly. And then you'll have the actual result line, which if you have a line, you're pregnant. Even if it's really faint, you're pregnant. If you don't have a line at all, you're not pregnant. Now with the LH test, that's where it's a little different. It has the test line as well that lets you know that the test worked properly. And then its result line, some women almost always have at least a very faint line. LH is a hormone that kind of is in your body all the time, and then it surges, which means like you get a big in your face of it. You get a big surge of it when you're about to ovulate. But the way to tell if an LH test is positive is if the result line is just as dark or darker than the test line. So just having 2 lines on an LH test or an ovulation test does not mean that it's positive. And that's kind of where a lot of women have issues, because it can be hard to tell whether or not it's positive. Like I said, I've been literally trying to be a mom since I think I officially started with the partner that I was with. We agreed, yes, we were going to try and have a baby. We eventually got engaged and then broke up. But I was 23 at the time. So I was 23 at the time. So almost 10 years that I've been doing this. I see some stuff. So that's when I started. I did a bunch of research, and I've continued to research because then it wasn't working, and it wasn't working, and it wasn't working. And then, like I said, we broke up, so I thought maybe, it could have been that person. They also had other physical issues with their body. Not necessarily like disorder, but they had like a skin problem. I can't remember what it's called, but they would get like, instead of a pimple, it would just get deeper and deeper, and they had really bad eating habits and just really bad health habits and drinking and smoking and all of that. So I just chalked it up to, it wasn't me, it was him. So then the next relationship I got into, that actually started because that person agreed to help me, because that's after that first relationship, I decided I wanted to be an SMBC, single mother by choice, and I made that decision in 2012. Actually, no, I made that decision in 2011, like the end of 2011. And then I was hit by a Ford F-150 January 3rd of 2012, which put me out of commission, made me have 2 surgeries on my foot. I had chip fractures. It was a whole mess. Kind of put everything that I was trying to do with my life at the time on hold. But for that whole year, like, I couldn't even work. I was on crutches. I was in a wheelchair. Like I said, I had 2 surgeries. I had pins in my foot. It was bad. I'm good now, but thank God. But yeah, it was bad. But then because of that, because I wasn't even driving, like, truck hit body. Like, I was stuck under the truck when the ambulance got there. It was bad. But with that, I was like, okay, well, I'll be getting a little bit of a settlement because of this. A lot of the money that I got, I did not get to keep. It went to the hospital because my injuries were so extensive. But I did get a little bit of an egg from that. And with that, what I decided to do was I was going to move out of the city that I lived in, and I was going to start this life. And I was like, well, now I can be an SMBC. And that didn't quite, we're at 5 minutes, so I'm gonna show you real quick. That didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. I ended up meeting the guy who said he was gonna help me. This camera, man, I'm sorry, I'm working on it. Give me them views, give me them subscribers. Let me start, getting that bag, and I'll make it better for you, I swear. But the guy said he was gonna help me, and I was tripping for a second, so sorry. I was like, what? But no, the guy said he was gonna help me, and he had been a friend of mine. We went to school together. We ended up building a relationship off of trying to make a baby, but and end up getting engaged as well. But that didn't work out. But through that whole process, which was like a 2.5, 3 year relationship, it still wasn't working. This is, by the way, the pregnancy test. This is the HCG, and as you can see, there's only one line, not pregnant. Which I knew I wasn't going to be, like I said, I'm about to ovulate. But I just want you to see what it looked like so I can compare the two. And then this is the LH, which I don't like how this one looks. So I think I'm going to do another one. It looks positive, but the test line is really light, which is irking me a little bit. So I'll do another one. But there's the LH, and the test line is the one that's closest. Yes, the test line is the one that's closest to the end here, the pink, and then the result line is the one that's closest to where it says max. So I'll show you again so you can see what I'm talking about. See, and they look like they're both about the same color. I might let it sit a little longer, but I don't know. See, this is why women have all these issues, is because sometimes it's not quite as reliable as you want it to be. So just to be on the safe side, because I have so many, I'm just gonna do one more while I continue to explain this, and then I'll be off of here. I think I'm only gonna give this one like 3 minutes, so I just, like, even if I just have to pause it and come back so you guys can see the results for it. But the test line looks like it's 2 different colors, and that's what's bothering me, because that lets you know that the test is working 100% perfectly. And with these cheapies, sometimes you get a dud, or you get one that doesn't work as well. So with that being said, I'm just gonna do one more with the same sample, lay it flat, and continue with what I was saying. Okay, so that didn't work out with the second guy, and like I said, it wasn't working. And with the first guy, I went to the doctor, told the doctor, this is what I'm trying to do, what are my options, and they were like, you're perfectly fine, nothing's wrong with you, you're good, just do the do. Well, the medical definition medical definition of infertility is when you try consistently for 12 months or a year, same thing, and you do not get pregnant. That is what medically is considered infertile. And I kept, telling my doctors, we're trying every month. I'm tracking my cycles at this point. Like, I know when they're coming. I have a tracker that I use called Fertility Friend, which I swear by that tracker. It is great. I have been using it this entire time. It has all of my information literally from the very first cycle. I've used it consistently. Even when I wasn't, tracking my ovulation specifically, I still track my cycles on there. So the day I start, at the very least, I would put that day in there, and then that way it would know what my cycle was. Even if I didn't even track each specific thing about each day of my cycle, the very first day was on there, and that's all it needed for its algorithm to tell me when to expect the next one. So it literally has like a good solid 9 years, 8 or 9 years of my information in it. So it's extremely accurate for me because I've been using it for so long. This isn't sponsored. I wish it was. Fertility Friend, I like a year subscription for free, please. And also, I will put the link in below if you're interested in it or you've never heard of it. You can use my reference link, and I will get free days, and you will get free days for using it. They're also on Twitter as well, and I think it's just Fertility Friend or whatever. And sometimes they have contests, and you can get free days. It's a basic tracker, or you can pay. I think it's like $25 or $30 for the year, and it has advanced trackers on it that will further track other things. And then once you become pregnant, it turns into a pregnancy tracker as well. So it's super awesome. Again, that's Fertility Friend. But either way, like, I went to the doctor with the second guy, and they're just like, we can't find anything wrong with you. Then after my relationship after that, we tried a little bit. We almost actually got engaged. I'm a lifer. Like, when I have a boyfriend for a really long time. I don't mind dating, anything like that. But once I love hard. So once I'm like, you're mine, I'm yours, you're stuck with me pretty much until you decide you don't want me anymore, or you mess up really, really bad and I gotta go. But I got a high tolerance for fuckboys, so they tend to stick around a little longer than what they're supposed to. Anyway, I went to the doctor after that relationship because that's when I decided I want to be, an SMBC. I'm not worried about a relationship right now. I'm not worried about a boyfriend right now. That's also around the time that I moved and all that fun stuff. So here I am again, and I probably should have stuck with my original plan in the first place. It's all good. God works in mysterious ways. The universe is always working in our favor for our best good. You live, you learn. And I went to a new doctor because at this point I had seen 3 doctors, and I went to this 4th doctor, and I'm like, something's wrong. I know as much about this as pretty much you guys do. Like, I've read medical studies. I probably could qualify to be a midwife at this point. Maybe not necessarily a doula, because I haven't actually brought any babies into this world. I'd have to do some more studying for that. But the helping you with your pregnancy part and getting pregnant, girl, I got you. But I was telling her something's wrong. I've had this test, I've had ultrasounds done, external, internal ultrasounds. Is there any other tests we can do? I've had blood work, all of this. I also, throughout this process, have lost, I've had repeat miscarriages. I've lost a few babies, more than most. Miscarriages are actually quite common, especially miscarriages, which is when you technically get pregnant, but it doesn't implant properly, or something's wrong with the embryo or what have you, but you might not even be late for your cycle or your period. You'll have your period. It might be a little more, crampy than usual, but without a positive pregnancy test beforehand, you might not even ever know. So, but yeah, I've had some to where it's like, no, I knew I was pregnant and just hadn't got a chance to get to the doctor yet. And yeah, so, but I'm still trying. I'm still here. They're looking the same. Sorry, I keep checking it and checking the time. But so yeah, what I did was, I was like, is there anything else we can do? And she did this like dye test, which you lay on a table. And of course, I'm at a teaching hospital, which means that there are medical students who are there who are also, observing and learning. So instead of just me and my doctor and the technician, it's me, my doctor, the technician, and 4 students. So there's 6 people in my room. I'm naked from the waist down, like fuck a gown, because they need to actually see to do this test. And I'm just like, I didn't know that there was going to be an audience, but yeah, let's just show it off for the world. It wasn't bad. No, it was good. And she actually said I was one of her best patients for this test. I didn't have no complaints or nothing like that. So anyway, they did the test, and almost immediately, like you can see on the screen where the dye enters into your body, and the dye basically just shows you, I'm trying to show with my hands, and I'm goofy as hell, y'all. Y'all will learn. Like, this is not for YouTube. This is me. 32 years old. Yes, I'm super goofy. And you wonder why I like kids. I mean, come on now. I still love SpongeBob. Anyway, the inside joke, SpongeBob, don't worry about it. Might explain it later. But, so you like on the screen you see, and like the dye starts going in, and it starts, showing my uterus and showing my fallopian tubes and my ovaries and all this fun stuff. And almost immediately you can see that there was like, I guess you would call it a mucus blockage at the time, as well as fibroids, but you couldn't see them a lot. You could just see them a little bit, and that with made her say, okay, well, this is what we think is going on. Sorry, I'm slightly OCD and I saw the back of my choker. She's like, we see some fibroids. We want to go in there and get those removed for you. My hair's getting on my nerves. We're going to go ahead and get those removed for you. And so I had what is called a laparoscopic myomectomy, which means that they went in and removed the fibroids, but they went in through, I'm not going to show you because I want to dress, and that would be exposing my hoo-ha. And we're not exposing the hoo-has on YouTube. That's not what we do. No. But they went in through my belly button, and then it's like right here and like right here. So they didn't have to actually like cut me open, which was great. But yeah, so they went in through there, and they removed the fibroids, and she thought it was just like 1 or 2. There ended up being 4. The biggest one was about the size of a large grapefruit. The smallest one was about the size of one of those little orange cuties, the little baby orange things or whatever. So yeah, from like this to like this, and it was like there was small, medium, large, and extra large. They just got bigger. So yeah, like I literally just from surgery lost a little over 10 pounds because they were so big between the 4 of them. Like it was huge. Yeah, after that I had 3 to 6 months of recovery, and then I was able to try, and here we are a year later, and I'm still trying to find an avenue to be a mommy. Okay, so this is the one that I just did. This is the second one. Focus. Why aren't you focusing? I'm still trying to see everything but what I'm trying to show you. And then this is the first one that I did. Oh, well, that one focused right away. Okay, so I'm gonna put them right next to each other, side to side. The top one is the second one, the bottom one is the first one. Come on. Oh, there we go. And as you see, they look exactly the same, which makes me feel better because, and yeah, as the first one sat, it kind of, the color evened out a little bit. Like I said, 3 to 5 minutes. You can read them up to 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, don't read the results, especially on a pregnancy test. There's evap lines, all this other stuff that can happen that will throw you off. You don't want that emotional roller coaster. But yeah, they're exactly the same. And these are positive because the test line and result line are the exact same. With me, I get one that looks like that, and then I'll get one where the result line is noticeably darker than the test line, and I'll probably have that one tomorrow. Tomorrow or the day after. I can't remember what cycle day I'm in right now, so I can't remember what day I actually ovulate. Yeah, so they're positive, which means that my body is working properly. I'm 1 to 2 days away. I think I'm 2 days at this point away from my actual ovulation day. So that's perfect sense. If I were actually trying right now or could try, this is when I would want to start. They call it baby dancing in the TTC world, or trying to conceive world. Baby dancing, which basically just means getting it in. But I ain't gonna tell y'all my business. Y'all don't even know me like that yet. But I'm not in a position right now to actually try and conceive. So with that being said, I just keep it, mark it in my, sorry, my nose is like itching. I will mark it in my calendar, my tracker, and then I'll test again tomorrow. And I usually test until I get a negative one. But I kind of know the days that, at this point where I'm at. So I will test just to make sure that my tracker and my body are still lining up. And then like I said, I'll probably test for 2 to 3 more days. And then I'll end up getting a negative, or sometimes I don't even test to a negative because, like I said, I'll get a really positive where that result line is like super dark, and then I'll just test until it looks like this again, and then, that means that I know that the surge is going down, and I've usually either already ovulated or like I'm ovulating within that 24 hour space from the super positive one to that right there. To me is like a just positive. Some women only get that, they never get like the super positive, but I always get the super positive. So that's that. Oh, I've been talking for 33 minutes.